Hey guys, welcome back to some Gilded Guardians. Today's video might be the biggest thing that we have ever seen and what could breathe really new life into this game. So there was a quick update featuring the gold pack banner polished and of course the summoning shop. And here you can see a little bit of the functionality with the skills and abilities, some bug fixes, but that is not the big thing. So when it comes to Gilded Guardians, the problem that we find within this game is the Enlightenment and the Radiance. When it comes to the Radiance, it is ultra expensive to get them any further. You can see Radiance increased chance 1%. We literally have a 99% failure chance when it comes to the Radius. And then of course, looking for the Radiance right down here, it costs 8,000 to actually go ahead and try and attempt that 1% for the Radiance. That 8K that we see right here roughly costs about $40 per chance at doing this. Now you also notice within the growth rate and also down here is 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. You are talking about roughly, again, $40 per chance. So if we're getting to 10 right down here at that 20% chance, you're talking probably running about $400 to do this 10 times. This made the game unattainable for a majority of players. If you're free to play, it's actually impossible to get Radiance until now. I want to hop over and I want to look at the changes that are coming to this, and I want to really break this down and understand the enchanting Guardian Radiance and Enlightenment mechanics. This is going to change. And like I said, this could be the one thing that is going to either make Gilded Guardians or really break Gilded Guardians as a play to earn game. So let's look at the mechanics in here, guys. This is kind of crazy. So the Radiant system has been replaced by a reliable Radiance experience progression system. Radiant souls provide 1 EXP point, and once per Radiance tier, a player can consume a duplicate Radiant Guardian for bonus Radiance XP to increase Radiant players filled to the bar to essentially 100%. So this is kind of crazy. So when you think about that, so the Radiant system itself that we were just looking at has been replaced to build EXP within the progression system. I love that. The structure of the number of duplicates used Enlightenment progress has been flattened and simplified, which is awesome. The total cost of achieving max Radiance and Radiance for Legendary Guardians is approximately the same as the old system. Epic and Rares have overall cost have slightly been reduced. The optimal progression path. This is again kind of where it changes. To fully build out your Guardians and minimize total cost under the system, ensure Guardian is ascended an NFT. That means that you have Radiance on there. Make sure to use a duplicate Radiant Guardian during the Enlightenment advancement, which we have done. Fill Radiance XP bar to max value before undergoing advancement of the next tier of Enlightenment. That, unfortunately, if you already have your Guardian up to level 15 or that Enlightenment 15, you're not going to be able to fill that Radiance XP bar, which unfortunately, if players deviate from the optimal progression path, they will receive a notification advising them of the inefficient use of resources. So let's, again, kind of break this down a little bit so we understand this is where players are feeling frustrated, costly, and sometimes lead to situations where Guardians are rendered inefficient or bricked or actually stuck, where you don't have the sheer amount or ability to build them any further, which is where we're looking right now. Since I've started playing Guild of Guardians, I have used the exact same Guardians we purchased when we originally started playing. So look, thinking of Leah, thinking of, running Karuk, those Guardians have been there and have been there forever. So this is outlining a proposed change that is going to be coming. So problem with the current system, fatigue from real money cost and random success rate. Absolutely. It is just asinine when we look at the success rates and how much you have to put in there. Bricked Guardians, when repeatedly failing Radiance, seems unsuccessful. Enlightenment, again, a lot of players are feeling that. Difficult for players to understand the interlinking Radiance Enlightenment systems. That's not too hard to understand, but honestly, it is pretty complex if you're brand new to the game. Design goals, guaranteed Radiance progression, eliminate the randomness in Radiant upgrades, and provide you a reliable progression path. That is huge. Eliminating the bricked Guardians by design flaw. There's a way to revive already bricked Guardians. I'm going to have to see what exactly they're talking about. So preserve the Guardian value, maintain the relative cost of the value of Guardians that have been upgraded in the current system, and simple rules for advancement. So propose new system. This is the Radiance XP system. Radiance will now increase by filling in a Radiance XP bar to 100% for each tier of Radiance. Please refer to the table in the appendix, which we'll have to look about. So increasing Radiant XP by consuming Radiant Duplicate Guardians or Radiant Souls. So if you have those Radiant Souls out there, you are just going to eat them to essentially build up this XP Radiant bar, getting it to 100%, which is going to guarantee that you're going to have a Radiant Guardian. Radiant XP cannot be reset or recovered. Duplicate Radiant Guardian. So using a duplicate Radiant Guardian will provide one-time XP bonus per Radiance tier for each of the final 9 tiers of Radiance, excluding 0 to 1. Using higher duplicate Radiant Guardians does not confer any additional Radiant XP bonus when compared to using Radiant Zero Guardian. Now, players can obtain one-time XP bonus at any point per Radiant tier. However, to make efficient use of resources, it is recommended that players make use of this bonus during Guardian Enlightenment. Like we talked about, when you're enlightening a Guardian, which we can look at in just a minute, I can actually swap right over. So when you're actually enlightening a Guardian, which is going to be in this one, or let me see somebody who's not in a party, I believe they're in the event right now, but a Radiant Guardian is going to have the ability right here. So when you do this, using a Radiant Guardian within this mode is the one that really does make a big difference when it comes to building that out. So Radiant XP is a Web 2 value, non-transferable. XP is tied to the account, meaning you can't transfer the Guardian if it's sold or traded on the XP bar to the next Radiant tier set. And I don't know if this is going to be per or just per account, or if it's going to be on a specific hero. We're going to have to see. Number of Radiant tiers is unchanged. The rules for Radiant advancement are unchanged. You cannot advance through Radiant tiers faster than the Enlightenment tier, which makes sense. So if the Enlightenment tier is 5, you can't be on 7 Radiant, which again makes sense. So new Enlightenment progression system. The structure of duplicate Guardian consumption for Enlightenment has been flattened and simplified. Sacrifice 1 duplicate Guardian and faction scrolls, which are variable, to advance the Enlightenment. So again, you can put some faction scrolls in there. 1 duplicate Guardian. Some of the higher levels took 2 copies, which again was very, very difficult. Guardians that are Ascended Radiant can opt to sacrifice a Radiant duplicate Guardian while enlightening to also receive bonus Radiance XP. Bonus is only available once per Radiant tier. So there you go. So you can even get some Radiance XP out of there. Please refer to the table, which we haven't got to. Now, Cracked Hearts. Cracked Hearts will continue as wildcard duplicate Radiant Guardians for the purpose of advancing an early adopter Radiance XP. That is pretty cool. So full hearts, again, are another thing. Any full hearts used for this will instantly advance to the next tier. Full hearts generate 100% of the Radiant XP, which is going to be required. A consultation period. Now, this is going to be interesting. We'll take feedback until January 24th. So what do you think? The solutions and overall, let's see what it talks about here. I just failed Radiance. How can I be compensated? We will compensate Radiant XP based on the number of failures since your last success. If you have failed a Radiance during either attempt, you'll receive a flat 50% of the XP required to advance to the next Radiance tier. I'm kind of curious about this because we've actually failed a lot when it comes to building these up, which is going to be pretty interesting. You have a Legendary Guardian, you have attempted to advance from 8-3 to 9-4, but failed. You currently have a 9-3 Guardian. When this bar is pushed, you will have a 9-3, but your Radiance XP bar to get to Radiance 4 will be filled by 50%. That is going to be interesting because, again, I'm assuming it's going to be per Guardian on this. New system sounds a little complex. We considered various options to simplify the system further. One option was eliminating duplicate Guardians for Radiant progression. Yeah, that's a little bit tough. Why even offer the option for players to pursue a suboptimal path? Key part of Guild of Guardians metagame is the strategic use of scarce resources. We designed the new system in a way that doesn't punish players for making mistakes, which of course, see the question about the bricked Guardians. Max Enlightenment Guardians, you're requiring me to provide additional duplicate. Yeah, now this is the thing. So I have Max Enlightened Guardians, which I do. You are requiring me to provide additional Radiant duplicates to increase the Radiance. What happened to all the dupes I already used? If your Guardian already is ascended, we cannot refund or compensate the Web 2 duplicate Guardians used to increase Enlightenment. These duplicates have already proven their benefit during Ascension and Enlightenment. Additionally, these cases where Web 2 versions do not exist. If your Guardian has not ascended, we recommend resetting the Guardian's progression to retrieve the duplicate constitutes. You can then ascend the Guardian. That's going to be pretty tough, because if we used a lot of the Guardians already, we're not going to get much back except 50% of the EXP bar. Not a huge fan of that. So, all right, bricked Guardians. Under current system, Radiant success by risking a failure of do so. When we Radiant duplicate for light, if failure occurs, the total expected cost to advance the maximum Radiance is higher than the Guardian that succeeded. That is true. This happens because the Radiance bonus modifier on the Radiant duplicates are used during enlightenment. Failure exclusively exhausted the number of the bonus percentage multipliers, which is exactly kind of what happened. We're going to have to see the value. So let's look at this. So Guardian rarities. So there we go. So legendary XP required 350,000 EXP. So new total cost, you can see Radiant Souls, Faction Souls, and 9 duplicates. The old cost, or the actual cost right now, 202 Radiant Souls, a little bit more Faction Souls, and then 9x Radiant duplicates. But the thing is that I'm kind of thinking is, when you think of building out these, is guaranteeing getting the hero built up further, because I'm wondering, like, when we did the enlightenment plus the highest level of radiance that we could get, and we failed a multitude of times, we're gonna have to see what that looks like. The resource conversion, there we go. Radiant Souls are going to be 1. Rare duplicate Radiant Guardians, 1 bonus time per Radiant tier. The 1-time bonus per Radiant tier is going to be 1,500. So I'm assuming that we're getting this bonus once, and then it's going to go back to just the 1 EXP. So let's see what this is. The Radiance here. So these are if you have a higher tier Radiance Guard. So EXP, additional overflow. Radiance if saved, total. What's that? Total indifferent Radiant Souls. Again, Radiant Souls I'm not too worried about. I'm just worried about the sheer amount of getting these heroes up to, the 9 and the 10 when it comes to the Radiance. And then the Enlightenment cost comparison. Now here's the new and the old. Let's see. So even here, where we use the cracked hearts, we use the 2 cracked hearts to get to 14, the 2 cracked hearts to get to 15. And then, of course, the factions scrolls are going to be, or the souls are going to be a little bit higher. And then total difference in faction souls, which again, difference in copies. Look at the difference, guys. Difference in duplicate consumed. Yeah, this is where it's going to be pretty interesting to see what this looks like for all of the Guardians that we have already used through months of progression, all of the cracked hearts and everything else. So guys, that's going to do it for this new system. And again, this can really make or break a game when it comes to something like this. That is going to be a big fundamental and really big game changer when it comes to how we're going to build out these Guardians in their entirety. But that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think about the content. And as always, thank you guys for watching.